6.
Class 6.
Entitled
Entitled
Science 1.
Science 1. This is the lesson 3. Title
Fiber to
to
fabric.
fabric.
From page 18 to 25.
From page
Pause.
18 to
Page
25.
18.
Page 18.
Fiber to fabric. Paheli and Bujo won
Fiber
the first
to
prize
fabric.
in a science quiz
Paheli
competition
and
held
Bujo
at
won
their
the
school.
first prize in a science quiz competition held at their school.
Start.
They were very excited.
They were
and
very
decided
excited
to use the
and
prize money
decided to
buy
use the
clothes
prize
for their
money to buy
parents.
clothes for their parents.
When they saw a large variety of cloth material,
When they saw a large variety of cloth material, they got confused.
they got confused. Figure 3.1. The shopkeeper
Figure
explained
3.1.
that some clothes or fabrics were cotton
The
and
shopkeeper
some were
explained
synthetic.
that some
He
clothes
also
or fabrics were cotton and some were synthetic.
had woolen mufflers and shawls.
He also had woolen mufflers and
There were
shawls.
many silk saris
There were
as
many
well.
silk saris
Paheli
as
and
well.
Bujo felt very excited.
Pause.
Paheli and Bujo felt very excited.
They touched and
They
felt
touched
these
and
different
felt these
fabrics.
different fabrics.
Finally, they
Finally,
bought a woolen
they bought
muffler
a
and
woolen
a
muffler
cotton
and
sari.
a cotton sari.
Start.
After their visit to the clock,
After
Paheli
their
and
visit
Bujo
to the
began
cloth
to
shop,
notice various
Paheli and
fabrics
Bujo
in their
began to
surroundings.
notice various
They
fabrics
found
in their
that
surroundings.
bed sheets, blankets,
Pause.
They found that bed sheets, blankets,
Start.
curtains,
curtains,
tablecloths,
Pause.
tablecloths,
Start.
towels, and dusters
towels,
were made from
and
different
dusters
kinds
were
of
made
fabrics.
from different
Even
kinds
their
of
school
fabrics.
bags
Even their school bags and the gunny
and the
bags
gunny
were
bags
made
were
from
made
some
from
kind of
some
fabric.
kind of fabric.
Start.
They tried to identify fabrics
They
as
tried to
cotton,
identify these
wool,
fabrics as cotton, wool, silk or synthetic.
silk or synthetic.
Start.
Can you also identify
Can
some
you
fabrics?
also identify some fabrics?
3.1. Variety
3.1.
in fabrics.
Variety in
1.
fabrics.
Visit a nearby tailoring shop. Collect
Activity
cuttings of
1.
fabrics left over after stitching.
Pause.
Visit a nearby tailoring shop. Collect cuttings of fabrics left over after stitching.
Start.
Feel and touch
Feel
each
and
piece
touch
of
each
fabric.
piece of fabric.
Now,
Now, try to label some of the fabrics as cotton,
Start.
silk, wool or synthetic
silk,
after
wool
asking
or
for help.
synthetic after asking for help from the tailor.
Start.
From the tailor. What
Do
these
you
different
wonder
fabrics
what these
are made
different
of?
fabrics are
When
made
you
of?
look at any fabric,
When
it
you look
seems
at
a
any
continuous
fabric,
piece.
it seems a continuous piece.
Start.
Now, look at it closely. What do you notice? As shown in figure
As shown
3.2.
in figure 3.2.
This is the
This
figure
is the figure
3.2,
3.2, an piece of
enlarged view of a piece of fabric.
Activity 2.
Select a piece of cotton fabric you labeled in Activity 1. Now, try to find a loose thread or yarn at one of the edges and pull it out. Figure 3.3. Page 19. If no loose yarns are visible, you can gently pull one out with a pin or a needle. We find that a fabric is made up of yarns arranged together. What are these yarns made of? 3.2.
Take out a yarn from a piece of cotton
Fiber.
fabric. Place this piece of yarn on the table.
Activity 3. Take out a yarn from a piece of cotton fabric.
Now, press one end of the yarn.
Place this piece of yarn on the table. Now, press one end of the yarn with your thumb.
Scratch
the other end of the yarn along its length with your nail as shown in figure 3.4.
Do you find that
at this end the yarn splits up into thin strands? Figure 3.5. Figure 3.4 shows splitting the yarn into thin strands.
Figure 3.5 shows yarn split into thin
Figure
strands.
3.5 shows yarn split up into thin strands. You might have observed something similar when you try to thread a needle. Many a time, the end of the thread is separated into a few thin strands. This makes it difficult to pass the thread through the eye of the needle.
You might have observed something similar when you try to
The
thread
thin
a
strands
needle.
of thread that we see are made up of still thinner strands called
Many a time,
fibers.
the end of the thread is separated into a few thin strands.
Fabrics are made up of yarns and yarns are further made up of fibers.
This makes it difficult to pass the thread through the eye of the needle.
Where do these fibers come from? The fibers of some fabrics such as cotton, jute, silk and wool are obtained from plants and animals.
These are called natural fibers.
These are called natural fibers.
Cotton and jute are examples of fibers obtained.
Cotton and jute are examples of fibers obtained from plants.
Wool
and silk fibers are obtained from animals.
Wool is obtained from the fleece of sheep
Wool is
or
obtained
goat.
from the fleece of sheep or goat.
It is also obtained from the hair of rabbits.
It is also obtained from the hair of rabbits, yak and camels.
Silk fiber is drawn from the cocoon of silkworm.
Silk fiber is drawn from the cocoon of silkworm.
For thousands of years, natural fibers were the only
For
ones
thousands of
available for
years,
making
natural
fabrics.
fibers were the only ones available for making fabrics. Buju has seen in the museums items like the one shown here. These were worn by warriors. He wants to know if these are made of some kinds of fiber.
Start.
These were worn by warriors.
Start.
He wants to know if made of some
Page
kinds
20.
of fiber.
Continue.
20.
In the last 100 years or
last
so,
100 years
fibers
or
are
so.
also made from chemical substances
Start.
Fibers are also made from chemical substances
which are not obtained from plant or animal sources.
Continue. Continue.
which are not obtained
These are
from
called
plant or
synthetic
animal
fibers.
sources.
Start.
These are called synthetic fibers.
Some examples of synthetic fibers are polyester,
Continue.
Some examples of synthetic fibers are
nylon, and acrylic.
polyester, nylon, and acrylic. Some plant
3.3.
fibers.
Some
Cotton.
plant fibers.
Have you ever
Cotton.
made wicks for oil lamps? What do you
Have you
use for
ever
making
made
these
wicks for oil lamps? What do you use for making these wicks?
Start.
This cotton wool is also used for filling
This cotton wool
mattresses,
is also
quilts,
used for
or
filling
pillows.
mattresses, quilts, or pillows.
Take some cotton wool, pull it apart, and look at its edges.
Take some cotton wool, pull it apart, and look at its edges.
Start.
What do you
What do
observe?
you observe? The small, thin
The
strands
small, thin
that you
strands
see
that
are
you
made up
see
of
are
cotton
made up of
fibers.
cotton fibers.
Start.
From?
Where does this cotton wool come from?
Start.
It is grown in the fields.
It is grown in the fields.
Cotton plants are usually grown at places
Stop.
Cotton plants are usually grown at places having black soil and warm climate.
Start.
Can you name some states of our country where cotton is grown?
Can you name some states of our country where cotton is
The
grown?
fruits of the cotton plant, that is cotton balls,
The fruits of the cotton plant, that is cotton balls, are about the size
are
of a
about the
lemon.
size of a lemon. After maturing,
Stop.
After maturing, the balls burst open and the seeds covered with the cotton fibers can be seen.
Start.
Have you ever seen a cotton field that is ready for
Have
picking?
you ever seen a cotton field that is ready for picking?
Start.
It looks like a field covered with snow, as shown in figure 3.6.
As shown in figure 3.6. Usually
From
picked
these
by
balls,
hand.
Cotton is usually picked by hand.
Start.
Fibers are then separated from the seeds by combing.
Fibers are then separated from the seeds by combing.
Start.
This process is
This
called
process is
ginning
called
of cotton.
ginning of cotton.
Start.
Traditionally
Ginning
done
was
by hand.
traditionally done by hand.
Start.
Figure
Figure
3.7.
3.7.
These days, machines are also used for
These
ginning.
days, machines are also used for ginning.
3.6
Figure
shows
3.6
field of
shows
cotton plants.
field of cotton plants.
Figure 3.7 shows ginning of cotton.
Figure 3.7 shows
Jute.
ginning
Jute
of
fiber
cotton.
is obtained from the stem of the jute plant.
आगे.
As shown in figure 3.8.
Jute. Jute fiber is obtained from the
It is
stem of the
cultivated
jute
during
plant,
the rainy
as shown in
season.
figure
In
3.8.
India, jute
It
is
is
mainly grown
cultivated
in
during
West
the
Bengal.
rainy season. In India, jute is mainly grown in West Bengal, Bihar, and Assam.
Bihar, and Assam. The jute plant is normally
The
harvested
jute plant
when
is
it is
normally
at flowering
harvested
stage.
when it is at flowering stage.
Start.
The stems of the harvested plants are immersed in water for a
The
few
stems
days.
of the harvested plants are immersed in water for a few days.
Start.
The stems rot and fibers are separated by hand.
The stems rot and fibers are separated by hand. Figure 3.8. A jute plant.
Figure 3.
Page 21. To make
To make
fabrics, all these fibers are first converted into yarns. How is it done?
How is it done?
3.4.
Start.
3.4.
Spinning cotton yarn.
Spinning cotton yarn.
Start.
You can try making
You can
cotton
try
yarn
making cotton
yourself.
yarn yourself.
Start.
4.
Activity 4.
Hold some cotton wool in one hand.
Hold some cotton wool in one
Pinch some
hand.
cotton between
Pinch
the
some
thumb
cotton
and
between the
forefinger
thumb
of the
and
other hand.
forefinger of the other hand.
Start.
Now, gently start pulling out the cotton.
Now, gently start pulling out the cotton
Start.
While continuously
twisting the fibers,
Start.
as shown in figure.
as shown in figure 3.9.
Start.
Are you able to make a yarn?
Continuous.
The process of making yarn from fibers
Are you able
is
to
called
make a
spinning.
yarn? The process of making yarn from fibers is called spinning.
From a
In
mass
this
of
process,
cotton wool
fibers from a mass of cotton wool are drawn out and twisted. This brings the fibers together to form a yarn.
Spinning is
A
hand
simple
spindle.
device used for spinning is a hand spindle, also called tuckly.
Also called tuckly.
Stop.
Figure 3.10.
Start.
Figure 3.10. Another hand-operated
Another
device
hand
used
operated
for
device
spinning
used
is
for
charkha.
spinning is charkha.
ठीक है.
Figure
Figure
3.11.
3.11. Use of charkha was
Use
popularized
of
by
charkha was
Mahatma Gandhi.
popularized by Mahatma Gandhi as part of the independence movement.
Start.
As part of the independence movement.
Start.
He
He
encouraged
encouraged
people
people
to
to
wear
wear
clothes made
clothes
of
made of
homespun
homespun
yarn
yarn
termed as khadi and shun imported cloth made in the mills of Britain.
termed as khadi
Start.
and shun imported cloth made in the mills of Britain.
Start.
To popularize and promote
To popularize and promote khadi,
Start.
the Government of India constituted a body called Khadi
Start.
and Village Industries Commission
the Government of India constituted a body called Khadi and Village
in
Industries Commission in
1956.
1956.
Spinning of yarn on a
Spinning of
large
yarn
scale
on a
is
large
done
scale is done with the help of spinning machines.
Start.
with the help of spinning machines.
Start.
After spinning, yarns are
After
used for
spinning,
making
yarns are
fabrics.
used for making
Figure
fabrics.